The story begins in a near-future world where ex-Marine John Robbins is being dragged into a brutal, level 6 maximum security prison. New prisoners don't meet a human warden, they meet his cold, emotionless hologram, which tells them straight up, society doesn't need you anymore. You will rot here forever. John is brought face to face with the real warden, who already knows his dark past. John murdered his commanding officer and escaped from 2 level 5 prisons. His DNA report literally says he's born rebellious. The warden warns him, no calls, no letters, no visitors, and any mistake means pain. Moments later, guards beat John and throw him into a cell. His cellmate secretly shares stolen bread, but the warden sees everything through the cameras. That night, John watches a prisoner screaming as he's dragged away. The cellmate whispers the truth. He's being sent to Absalom, the island where rule breakers don't survive. By morning, the cellmate disappears. John is dragged into a courtroom-like hall where every prisoner stands in silence. The warden announces the crime, hiding food. Punishment, 10 lashes. John's cellmate is strapped to a machine. The warden gives the first lash and orders John to give the remaining 9. John refuses, so the warden threatens to shoot the cellmate right there. Snapping, John grabs the taser and holds the warden hostage, but guards swarm him instantly. John is beaten unconscious. Hours later, a helicopter drops him onto Absalom, a wild, lawless island crawling with deadly inmates. Guards toss him on the ground and fly away, leaving John alone as rats crawl over him. When he stands up, he realizes he's trapped in a jungle filled with animal screams. Suddenly, shadows move. A feral tribe called the Outsiders surrounds him, tackles him, and drags him to their camp. Villagers try ripping his clothes off, until their leader, Merrick, arrives with a gun and stops everyone. After a few hours in a cage, John is brought before him. Surprisingly, Merrick welcomes him and jokingly calls this ruined resort a vacation. Here, survival belongs only to the strongest, so Merrick forces John into a death trial. John is pushed onto a platform, given a blade, and faced against the massive warrior Ralph. Ralph smashes a statue just to show his strength, but John doesn't flinch. In one quick move, he drives the blade straight into Ralph's chest. Ralph's body drops into the water below. Merrick loves the display and steps forward to congratulate him. But John grabs Merrick's weapon and shoves him into the water too. He points the gun at the tribe to escape, but when he pulls the trigger, the gun doesn't work. John bolts into the jungle as the furious Outsiders chase after him. John climbs up a tall tree and hides quietly as the Outsiders rush past. The moment they're gone, he plants a wooden spike in the ground, and one unlucky outsider sprints straight onto it, collapsing instantly. John doesn't stop. He ambushes another one from behind, snaps his neck, and steals his weapons. But while escaping, John slips down a slope, injures his leg, and quickly ties it up with torn cloth. Before he can even breathe, another outsider jumps at him from the bushes. John takes him down in seconds. The noise draws more outsiders. John runs, triggers a trap, and a massive log swings down. He dodges, and the log smashes the outsider chasing him. He keeps running when an outsider named Scab shoots an arrow straight into John's leg. Bleeding and limping, John pushes forward until he's cornered at the edge of a gorge. The tribe fires darts from blowguns. John gets hit and falls into the water below. Miraculously, he survives. When he wakes up, he's surrounded by another group, the Insiders. They take him to their village, which is shockingly peaceful and organized, the complete opposite of the barbaric Outsiders. News of John reaching the Insiders immediately reaches the prison warden through surveillance feeds. John wakes up inside the village and is stunned. These inmates have built a functioning, civilized society. As he explores, he tries entering a mysterious building, but Hawkins and Skull stop him. It's a restricted area. Soon, John meets the village leader, the father, who tells him he's the first person who ever escaped the Outsiders alive, and he wants John to join their community. But John has only one goal: escape the island. He befriends Dysart, who's trying to repair a broken gun. John gives him smart suggestions, and the two bond over weapons and tactics. Dysart and Hawkins later take John to the watchtower and show him the brutal truth. Escaping is almost impossible. The island is filled with deadly animals. The Outsiders number 600, while Insiders are only 98. If a war breaks out, they're finished. And worst of all, main surveillance cameras. Any disturbance, and a helicopter arrives within seconds. Meanwhile, John gets medical help from Tom, the village healer, who warns him that without proper medicine, even a small infection can be fatal. John must keep his wound clean, or else it could kill him. While returning, John notices a young boy following him, Casey. The boy only wants to meet the man who survived Merrick. John tells him to keep his distance. John tests an escape idea by throwing a metal box into the ocean, but giant waves tear it apart instantly. Swimming away is impossible. Casey adds the final nail. The ocean is full of sharks. That night, John sees a group sneaking toward the shoreline with supplies. He follows them quietly, but Hawkins catches him red-handed, punches him, and warns him, "If you want to live here, stay united." John fires back with a punch of his own and walks away into the village. The next morning during breakfast, John asks Casey why he ended up on this island. Casey quietly reveals his dark past. He helped his mafia boss kidnap 2 kids, but he never meant to hurt them. The boss killed the children, and Casey took the blame. Before John can respond, a helicopter roars overhead. Casey explains that supplies are dropped only twice a month, but the outsiders always steal everything. The insiders never get a single box, and because the heli lands in a different spot every time, planning a raid is impossible. After breakfast, John and Casey visit Killian, the village's unofficial alcohol maker. John takes one sip and nearly coughs out his lungs, calling the drink terrible. Killian throws a punch, but John dodges with ease. Suddenly, a loud bell rings. All insiders sprint to the gate. One of their guards has fallen asleep during duty, for the second time. That's considered risking the village, so they banish him, forcing him to run into the jungle alone. Meanwhile, the outsiders are fighting each other over roasted rat scraps. Merrick calms them down and announces that supplies will be given tomorrow, only if they behave. But one man speaks up, declaring Merrick unfit to lead because John defeated him. Enraged, Merrick slashes the man's throat in front of everyone and orders Scab to prepare the tribe. They're attacking the insiders. Back at the peaceful village, Christmas arrives. The insiders celebrate with a small decorated tree and a few moments of joy. Father gives an emotional speech remembering those they've lost. John reminds everyone to pray for the people they kicked out of the village too. John plans to escape the next morning, but Father tells him he won't make it far. Meanwhile, the outsiders hide behind trees, preparing for a full-scale invasion. A spy warns the insiders, and the alarm is raised. Everyone arms up. Casey begs John to fight beside him. John refuses. But moments later, he unexpectedly climbs onto the wall and joins the warriors, shocking everyone. Back in the prison headquarters, the warden watches the situation unfold. He decides to let both tribes kill each other, easier for him, and then the real battle begins. Outsiders silently drag the outer guards into the water and drown them. Then flaming arrows rain down from the trees. Hawkins yells for his people to duck, but the arrows hit the huts, lighting the village on fire. Some rush for water, some try pulling arrows off rooftops. Many fall dead instantly. Next, the outsiders push giant trees and ram them into the main gate. The gate collapses, the watchtower collapses, the outsiders storm inside, and a brutal, chaotic bloodbath erupts. John unleashes his combat fury, taking down enemies with ruthless precision. In the middle of the madness, Casey freezes in fear as an outsider swings at him, but John dives in and saves him, firing an arrow straight into the attacker's chest. The battlefield erupts around them, and the war for Absalom truly begins. While the main battle rages outside, Father is fighting desperately to protect his people. Skull jumps in using his martial arts skills, taking down attackers left and right. But chaos wins for a moment. One outsider manages to stab Father in the side. Seeing the situation collapse, Hawkins pulls out his knife and orders Skull to drag Father into the tower for safety. Meanwhile, Merrick and his ruthless Lieutenant Scab sneak into the village through the water tunnels and hide inside the same tower. John spots them just in time. Without hesitation, he cuts a rope, drops a counterweight, and rockets upward toward the tower like an action hero. Inside, Scab ambushes Skull, knocking him unconscious. He grabs Father and presses on his wound to keep him from fighting back. Merrick begins one of his arrogant villain speeches and prepares to kill Father. But John bursts in and pulls a lever. The trapdoor opens, and Merrick falls straight through it. At the same time, Skull fires a burning arrow, turning Scab into ash. Now it's just John versus Merrick in a brutal, evenly matched showdown. Blow after blow, both men refuse to back down. Suddenly, the burning, half-dead Scab crawls into the tower, but Merrick kicks him out of a window to hide his own fear. Panicked, Merrick flees and orders his warriors to retreat. The outsiders finally withdraw. The insiders gather their dead, burn the bodies, and Father prays for their souls. John watches the flames from afar, and dark memories of war return, memories of innocent civilians he once killed. Killian hands him a drink and reveals something shocking. Father was punished for the mysterious death of his wife, but the evidence was never solid. Father might be the only truly innocent man on this island. The next morning, John notices several insiders sneaking out with supplies. Curious, he follows them and is stunned. They've secretly built a boat. He rushes to Father, who admits the truth. A hidden escape plan has been running for a long time. Finally, the boat is complete, equipped with a cooling system that makes it invisible to radar. But fate hits back. A secondary sensor picks them up. A helicopter screams in and sprays bullets. The boat shatters. The escaping insiders barely survive by hiding behind rocks. Shaken, Father realizes the only explanation. There must be a spy among them. John decides he'll be on the next boat no matter what, but Father and Hawkins stop him. Many people have waited for years. He must wait his turn. Later, John finds Dysart already working on a new escape boat. When John asks if he's going this time, Dysart refuses. He confesses his crime. Decades ago, he built a massive bomb just for money, without thinking who it would kill. 50 people died, living on this island. That's his punishment. Then John notices something important, a Chevy engine with a missing distributor part, and suddenly a dangerous plan forms. John promises Father, "If I bring that part from Merrick's camp, Casey and I get spots on the next boat." Father agrees, but with one condition. Merrick must tell the outside world about this island, so the rest of the prisoners can be rescued. Hawkins hands John a map marking the safest route to the outsider camp. Dysart gives him homemade Molotov bombs. Casey insists on coming along, but John shoves him away and warns him he has no idea how deadly this mission is. And with that, John begins the most dangerous journey of his life. Meanwhile, Merrick gathers his brutal Outlander gang and makes a bloody announcement. He's wiped out every rival gang leader. To prove it, he tosses their severed skulls on the ground like trophies. His new rule is simple: no more small fights, only war. A few hours later, John finally reaches the Outlanders' camp, but he's shocked to see that Casey has secretly followed him. Before they can talk, Casey gets caught in a hidden trap and ends up hanging upside down from a tree. John tries to help, but the Outlanders surround them and drag both men to their village. The crowd laughs at John, and Merrick orders Casey to be tied with sharp glass shards just to humiliate him. While everyone is distracted, John silently eliminates a guard on the staircase, finds the missing engine part he came for, and uses a rope to climb the watchtower. He takes out 2 more guards, but when he looks outside, he sees Casey being tortured. John reacts instantly. He throws a Molotov cocktail, blowing up the building in a massive explosion. Chaos erupts. The crowd panics, giving John his moment to rescue Casey. But Merrick steps in, blocking his path. Both men are thrown into a pool where Merrick demands they kill each other or die together. Casey pretends to attack John, but whispers that John must survive. The insiders need him. When John refuses to kill his friend, Casey makes the ultimate sacrifice. He hurls himself onto a spear, ending his own life so John can escape. Enraged, Merrick grabs a guillotine to execute John, but an undercover insider spy intervenes and saves him. The spy warns John that Merrick has united every outlaw gang for a second, much bigger attack. John must warn the insiders immediately. The next day, John returns to the village, hands the distributor part to Descent, and urges him to finish the boat quickly. He informs everyone about the incoming attack, but learns that Father is bedridden and seriously ill. John warns that they don't have the weapons to survive. They must evacuate. Father agrees and orders Hawkins to begin preparing the villagers to leave. But next morning, Father is still in bed. It's revealed he's suffering from a fatal disease. Without treatment, he may not live another month. No one knows except Hawkins, who only suspects something is wrong. Father wants John to take his place as leader, but John refuses. All he wants is to escape this island. Father hands John his personal diary, the book that holds the real truth behind this prison island, and asks him to find someone who can rescue the prisoners. John then heads to Descent, who has finally completed the boat. But when they test it, the fire from the engine sparks triggers John's PTSD, the memory of when he was forced by his commander to kill hundreds of innocent civilians during the war. When John exposed the truth, the government buried it, and John ended up killing his own commander. The next morning, John wakes up to a horrifying sight, the insider spy's severed head hanging as a warning. Before anyone can react, the Outlanders launch a surprise attack on the village, only to discover it's completely empty. They think they've already won. But suddenly, John appears on top of the tower, standing behind a heavy machine gun, and unleashes absolute chaos. A massive explosion wipes out most of the Outlanders in seconds. The remaining insiders rush out from hiding, their numbers growing, and the Outlanders panic and run for their lives. But the fight isn't over. Father climbs the tower to assess the situation when Merrick arrives out of nowhere, kills Skull, and charges at John. A brutal fistfight breaks out, raw, fast, and deadly. Merrick throws John to the very edge of the tower, ready to finish him. But Father grabs Marek from behind. Merrick stabs Father instantly. Fueled by rage, John climbs back up, lands a flurry of punches, and finally hurls Merrick off the tower, sending the tyrant crashing to his death. But victory turns dark immediately. John sees flames rising near the shore. He and Hawkins sprint towards Descent, only to find him dead and the escape boat burning. In Descent's hand lies Tom's necklace, revealing the truth. Tom was the Warden's spy all along. They rush to the healer's hut and catch Tom with a hidden transmitter. The Warden had promised him freedom in exchange for betraying everyone. Tom knows the rescue helicopter is on its way, so John forces him to change the landing coordinates. Moments later, Tom stands alone in an open field, acting as bait. The helicopter lands, not knowing it's a trap. Insiders burst out from hiding and wipe out the soldiers in a single ambush. John storms the helicopter, grabs the Warden, terrifies him, and finally throws him out, leaving him behind with Tom. John takes the pilot's seat himself and lifts off with Killian and the remaining prisoners, finally escaping the island. Meanwhile in the jungle, Tom and the Warden get surrounded by Outlanders, and whatever happens next, one thing is clear. Everyone who survived John's rebellion is now free, and that's the no escape. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more movie explanation videos.